The observation deck of mining station offered a view that should have been breathtaking. The gas giant Prometheus filled half the viewport, its storm systems swirling in bands of copper and violet. But 10-year-old William pressed his forehead against the cold plasteel and saw only emptiness. "Mom said Santa forgot us again," he whispered. The dragon didn't respond immediately. Zarthek, though William simply called him X, was suspended in his zero-gravity chamber adjacent to the observation deck, his serpentine body coiled around himself in a position that might have been sleep, might have been depression. Through the reinforced transparent aluminum barrier, William could see the bioluminescent patterns along X's scaled hide flickering weakly. The dragon species, the Draken, communicated partially through these light patterns, and William had spent enough time here to recognize despair when he saw it. "I know you're awake," William said, his breath fogging the barrier between them. A deep rumbling vibration traveled through the station's superstructure. X's massive head, nearly 2 meters long, lifted slowly. One golden eye, slit-pupilled and ancient, focused on the small human boy. "Why does this Santa forget you?" The translation matrix converted X's subsonic vocalizations and light patterns into standard English, displaying the words on William's wrist-mounted comm unit. William shrugged, fighting back tears. "Mom says it's because we're too far from Earth. Says Santa's sleigh can't make it past the asteroid belt. But that's stupid. If he can fly at all, why can't he fly here?" "Perhaps your mother SBAKS metaphor." "She speaks bills," William said bitterly. He was young but not stupid. He'd overheard enough conversations to understand. The mining company paid minimum wage. The supply ships charged maximum prices, and luxury items, like Christmas presents, simply didn't exist in the Kepler station's economy. X unfurled slightly, his body extending to its full 8-meter length. Even after 6 months of visits, William still felt awe at the creature's size. The Draken were the only other intelligent species humanity had encountered in the galaxy, and they were nothing like the first contact scenarios Earth had imagined. They didn't want peace. They didn't want war. They didn't want anything anymore. "I understand being forgotten," X pulsed, his patterns shifting to a deep blue that William had learned meant sadness. "Yeah," William sat down cross-legged on the deck plates. "That's why I come here. We're both forgotten, I guess." The Draken had been spacefaring for millennia before humans invented the wheel. Their civilization had spread across 3 star systems. Their technology was so advanced it seemed like magic, their lifespans measured in centuries. Then came the cascade. No one, not even the Draken themselves, understood it completely. Some quantum-level event had sterilized their entire species in a single generation. Every egg laid for the past 70 years had been inviable. Every Draken alive was now the last of their kind, watching their civilization die in slow motion. X was approximately 240 years old, considered young by his people's standards. He'd been en route to a research station when his ship malfunctioned near human space. The mining company had rescued him, then imprisoned him, studying him, hoping to extract valuable Draken technology in exchange for basic life support. William had stumbled upon him 3 months ago, exploring the forbidden sectors of the station while his mother worked double shifts. They'd been meeting secretly ever since. "Tell me about this Christmas," X requested. William brightened slightly. "It's supposed to be magical. There's this fat guy in a red suit who flies around in a sleigh pulled by reindeer. Those are like Earth animals with antlers, and he delivers presents to all the good children in one night." "Faster than light travel?" "No, just magic, I guess, or time dilation. I don't know. Mom says it's just a story, but," he trailed off, "I want to believe in something good, you know." "Yes," X pulsed, his patterns flickering amber. "I know that desire well. The older kids say Santa's not real anyway. They say it's just parents buying stuff. But even if that's true, the idea is nice. Someone who cares enough to bring joy to kids everywhere. Someone who doesn't forget anybody. X's eye fixed on William, with an intensity that made the boy shiver. No one should be forgotten, the dragon pulsed, especially not the young. Mom says next year will be better. She always says that. William kicked at the deck plate. But it never is. We've been on this stupid station for 3 years and it just gets worse. The other miners' kids get stuff because their parents save up or whatever, but Mom spends everything on medicine for her lungs, the dust from the mining operations. He didn't finish. X already knew. The station's environmental controls were substandard, the mining company unwilling to invest in proper filtration. Respiratory illness was endemic among the workers. William X pulsed, his patterns shifting to a determined red. What if I told you I could make Christmas real? The boy looked up sharply. What do you mean? I have access to MY ship's fabrication systems. The company does not know, they believe the ship non-functional, but I have been conserving RESOURCES, planning. William stood, pressing close to the barrier. Planning what? Escape. Return to my HOMEWRLD to die among my own kind. The lights flickered sadly. But perhaps there is time for one final ACT of creation. You mean presence? I mean hope. December 25th arrived cold and cheerless on. Sarah Chen finished her shift at 600 hours and trudged back to the cramped family quarters she shared with William, her lungs aching with each breath. She found her son awake, sitting at their small table staring at something. William, what is? Her voice died as she saw what lay before him. A toy starship, no bigger than her hand, crafted from some crystalline material that seemed to contain entire nebulae within its structure. It moved on its own, tiny engines pulsing with real plasma, executing perfect orbital maneuvers above the table. A medical inhaler, sleek and advanced, clearly Draken technology, marked with human-readable instructions. A hollow projector displaying images from Earth, real images, not the degraded files in the station's database. Forests, oceans, the home they'd left behind. And a handwritten note in William's careful script. Mom said Santa forgot us again, but X says no one should be forgotten, especially not the ones who sacrifice everything for those they love. Thank you for being my mom. Thank you for trying. William. P.S. X says the inhaler will fix your lungs. He says it's calibrated for human biology. He says you deserve to breathe. Sarah's hands trembled as she picked up the inhaler. Draken medical technology was legendary, far beyond human capability. This single device was worth more than the entire mining station. William, where did you get this? How? X made them, William said quietly. From his ship. He's been saving power for months, planning his escape, but he used it for this instead. The dragon, the one in detention, Sarah's mind reeled. You've been visiting. He's my friend, Mom, and he understands what it's like to be forgotten. Sarah sank into a chair, the inhaler clutched to her chest. William, this is. The company will know this came from Draken technology. They'll investigate. They might hurt him. He's leaving tonight, William said. He's been planning it for months. The fabrication drained his ship's reserves, but he says it's enough for one final jump. He's going home. To die? Sarah asked softly. William nodded, tears streaming down his face. But he wanted to do something good first, he said. He said that being remembered is more important than being alive, and that by making Christmas real for us, we'd remember him. And as long as someone remembers, nothing truly dies. Sarah pulled her son into her arms, both of them crying now. Use the inhaler, Mom, William whispered. Please, he made it for you. At 2300 hours, Zarthek's ship, a vessel of Draken engineering so advanced that human scientists had barely scratched its surface, powered up for the first time in 8 months. Alarms screamed across the station. Security teams scrambled. But X had planned carefully. By the time they breached the impound bay, the ship was already gone, jumping away on the last dregs of its power reserves. Toward the Draken homeworld, 300 light-years distant. Toward an ending that would at least be chosen. In their quarters, William stood at the viewport watching the stars. Somewhere out there, a lonely dragon was flying home, and somewhere on the station, a human mother breathed clearly for the first time in years, holding her son close. "Thank you, X," William whispered to the stars. "Merry Christmas." High above Prometheus, in the space between stars, bioluminescent patterns pulsed one final message, not in any human language, but in the universal language of light and hope. You are REMMBRED. You are loved. You are not forgotten. And in the cold mathematics of hard science and harder reality, something impossible happened. Christmas became real. Not through magic or metaphor, but through sacrifice, through friendship between species, through the simple, profound act of ensuring that no child, human or Draken or anything else, should ever truly be forgotten. The dragon had given his escape for their hope, and in doing so had proven that Santa Claus, in whatever form he takes, exists wherever there are beings willing to bring light to the darkness. Even at the edge of human space. Even in the loneliest corners of the galaxy. The end.